well the day I interviewed. I remember looking at Danita when I walked in the door, and she was the first person inside the door, the closest to me, so I went up to her first, and I realized immediately she was the only female in the room. And was told later I was actually the only female interviewing, so that was kind of an interesting point of view for me. I was also the only person with no chamber experience, which, sorry. But, you know, and many of you, well, some of you have heard this story. Mike Lee, who was the incoming chairman of the board, Mike Worley was the chairman, Stacy Taylor was the search committee chair. Mike Lee approached David and I outside of the Montessori School of Douglas County, where my children went to school at that time. And he said, you know, you did a great job with our fall festival. Well, sorry, back up. He said, I know you guys like the Royals. You're from Kansas City.
Go Royals!
Oh, shameless plug.
Take a moment. Last time the Royals went to the World Series, we were freshmen in college. So anyway, but he said, I've got tickets. I would like to, we didn't know, we'd never done anything socially with him. Mike said, we'd like to take you to the Royals game. We've got free tickets, love you to come. So we went. And I was running late I worked for an international company. I was on a conference call with Australia, and I was running late. And so I ended up having to meet them there late. And immediately when I walked in, and I was frazzled, and Mike goes, now tell me what you do again. And I said, well, I work for an international nonprofit, and I'm the chief operating officer, but I do marketing and membership, and I do management, operations. I kind of do everything. And he said, well, our Chamber of Commerce is looking for a president, and you would be great. And I'm thinking, I just met you, really, and all I've told you is that I do those things. I could really suck. I mean, you don't know. Sorry. So, Carol, I'm counting on you to cover her ears. So, yeah, really, sorry. So anyway, and he said that to me, and I said, well, I love my job. I've been here for 15 years. I absolutely love it. I'm not looking. I don't even have a resume together. And he said, but you came late, and it looks like you work really long hours. And your kids, I know it's really hard to pick up your kids, and you don't get to spend a whole lot of time. Seriously, for a whole baseball game. You must really miss them, and you travel all the time. It must be really hard. So anyway, we drove home that night, and it kept plaguing me. And David and I were on vacation with another couple in Arizona, and I was by the pool, and I could not get it out of my brain. And I finally said, "Okay, God, I get it." So I borrowed a laptop from the other folks, and I typed up a resume quickly at the pool. And I sent it to Mike Lee. I emailed it to Mike Lee, and I said, Mike, I put this together. I said, I don't even know if it's still okay to send it in, but here it is. So Mike emailed me back, and he said, the deadline is passed, but as the incoming chair, I think they're going to give me a little leeway on this. So he said, I'll let you know. So the next thing I got was a call setting up an interview, and I thought, so I started doing research, because I do research, because I wouldn't go unprepared into anything. So anyway, when I got into the interview, and remember, I didn't want the job, right? I didn't ask for this, but it just kept plaguing me. So I went in the interview, and I met so many great people in the interview. It was a huge panel interview, and it was interesting because it was at the head of the table. You guys know, right? It's nerve-wracking. There's all these people, and asking questions, and somebody said, well, do you have any questions for the committee? And I said, well, just one, really. Do you remember this? And I said, I realized when I was looking at your website that your 60-year anniversary is in 2005. This was in September of '04. Is in 2005. What do you guys have planned for that? You must be really excited. And it was dead silence at the table. And Kip Berry says, did anyone here except the candidate know that our 60th anniversary? It was kind of one of those moments I was like, I think I nailed that. But I left, and it was hard because I was driving back to a job that I absolutely loved, and I still think is a wonderful career and wonderful, but I kind of knew right away. And so when I got a second call from Mike Worley saying, hey, can you come meet with Stacy and I said, sure. And I was running a 1,500 person conference at the Hyatt in Atlanta. And I said, sure. Can I ask you a question? Is this a second interview? And he said, well, we're not doing second interviews. He said, I think we found what we want. I want to have a conversation with you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So it was a very quick process, and I was terrified. I won't lie to you. I was more terrified at my first board meeting first week I was there when the board voted to bankrupt the organization, which I thought, wait, I thought I did due diligence. But it was, all legal stuff, mumbo jumbo. Huh?
That darn Cahill.
It was there for 8 months.
Hey, I got property in Lakewood.
Yeah, how's that lake house coming?
Yeah, good.
So anyway, it was, it's great because sometimes those things that you don't know that you want are the things that you want the most. And so I'm grateful that Mike Lee brought it up to me at a baseball game randomly. I'm grateful that God wouldn't let me go and just kept plaguing me with it until I finally got it. I think some of us are probably easier than others. I'm fairly stubborn, in case you haven't figured that out. Colleen, stay quiet. Colleen. So I took the job and I started having lunches regularly with my kids at school. And I will never forget, Devin will not remember this, but we were riding in the van, the mommy van. And Devin and a friend of hers were in the back, and her friend said something about me traveling or where was I going next and stuff. I got to travel some cool places. And Devin said, before I could answer, my mommy changed jobs so she could have lunches with me. And then my husband, and he does know how this, that my husband said, I am so glad that you're home with me. I hated it every single time you left. And I traveled for 15 years, folks. 15. He never said anything. And I said, why didn't you tell me? He said, I hated that you traveled, but I love you. And John was absolutely correct. No matter what position I'm in or what career I have, my husband is absolutely the #1 fan of anything I do. And I appreciate all your work changing light bulbs, bringing ladders, hauling stuff,
cleaning grills,
grilling, whatever. But we all appreciate it, but I appreciate it, and you are the love of my life. So it's been 10 years, and I told somebody the other day, I feel like I still say to people, I'm new, I don't really know what's going on. I don't think I can get away with that anymore, but I have been blessed to work with the best people in the world. Janice, first and Janice when she came up here. No, Janice was here when I got here, right? So Janice has been here the entire time that I've been at the chamber, and it's been an absolute gift because, #1, Janice knows every phone number in the world.
and she can send faxes.
And she can send faxes, and I am a little challenged with the copy machine, I'll admit. Really, a little bit, just a little bit. But Janice has been with me through the entire time, so I want to say thank you, first and foremost, to you for making me look good.
I tell her all the time she's on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
Like today.
It's working for us. Let's just keep doing that. And I've got Allison, who was also there the day I started, and who I love dearly, and I get to go to church with now, and I'm really excited about that. If I'm not seeing her in Publix, which seems to be our new meeting place, right? John Gray, of course, was fabulous. Amber, perfect timing. Now I'm blessed to work with Colleen, who came in on a day that we had no one at the front desk and it was going crazy. I literally called her and said, how'd you like to come help me? And Kimberly and Sarah, who have been part of the family now, all of us together for, you're the newbie, so 4 years. You said you're 5.5. So I'm blessed to have staff who love to stay, and the chamber's blessed to have this entire group. And if I have any skill set, it's hiring really, really fabulous people, and I'm keeping all of them. I'm keeping them all. No one, Candace, I see you. And I think everybody who's here, I'm looking around the room, and I could tell stories on every single one of you and enjoy it immensely. I could do it. I could do it and enjoy it so much, but I won't because I still work here. I think I still work here. Candace came in, obviously, from Noonan. Kim, thank you for coming over from West Georgia Tech. I appreciate that, too. Please.
And now I'm 3 months on the job. Now I know I get to milk this.
Yeah. 10 years.
And you should. And you should. Candace, when Ed told me he had no idea what I did after doing it for 8 months, just keep pointing that out. I visited the chambers that touched us, figured they would know their jobs, and Candace was a wealth of information. And since then, she's been a wealth of information quarterly as we meet up and have lunch and drinks as necessary. What's going on in any of our chambers. But Candace and I have been to China together. We have been to Ireland together, where my son was her baggage boy.
Yes.
Not mine, hers, because she bought him candy and lottery tickets. So it is. It was smart. It was really smart.
Bride the children.
Bride and children, exactly. And now you know. Devin says she turns 15 in February and would love to go.
I'm going to Germany and
That's right, in September. She'll be old enough. I love all of you sincerely, and I wouldn't do this if it wasn't fun. Those who know me know that. I would not do this if it wasn't fun. I'm still having a ball, and I appreciate I know chamber work is fun. So thank you, and I can't believe you did this, and I have no idea.
Yeah, we did remember.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
And the board remembered.
Thank you guys very much. Thank all of
There
you.
was one thing she left out of her story.
Who
The
left-
Royals won that game.